For those of you who have watched the anime Clannad, I'm sure this song is something you tie immense emotion to. Although the beat itself is simplistic, it is one of the most recognizable songs in all of anime. Clannad is an amazing anime, and I've been trying for quite some time to make a video on this show, but I could never seem to sit down and focus on just one aspect of the show since it does so many things right. So instead, we are talking about 5 key features or techniques that Clannad used to become one of the most influential anime to come out of the 2000s. The first one being the excellent soundtrack. Clannad has very few spots without some sort of music. You see this on occasion, but these moments are only in scenes of absolute depression. One character I noticed that was often accompanied without music is Okazuki's father. This is done in stark contrast with the rest of the show. I think Clannad's success is more so in the amount of songs used in the show. They generally tie certain songs with specific moods and have no fear of reusing them. This led to the extremely popular Dango song. I think this song could have a whole video to itself as it has many different meanings throughout the show, but fills each role almost flawlessly. The consistently excellent soundtrack throughout the show gives us hope, and the repetitiveness of it all is to let us know that everything is connected. This leads me to our second reason why this show is so amazing. Everyone in this town is connected. A lot of shows do try this, but Clannad is one of the best. They start the show off with a pretty large cast, but each character plays an important role and is never there for just one arc. They always have something that connects them back to the story at least twice throughout the anime. One example being the language teacher. Although he is a very minor role, he plays a part in re-establishing the drama club, setting up the wedding, helping with Nagisa's graduation, and even intentionally introducing Okazuki and Tsunohara. This is the case with just about every character in this anime. This is incredible because it helps create a real sense that this is a living, breathing community. They rely heavily on this theme throughout the show and even test its strength by having the town constantly evolve and change. But despite the changes in how the town looks, the people stay the same. They even hint at this theme in Tomiya's arc, as she resists the change in the town by doing everything in her power to save the cherry blossoms. She ends up being the only person who is successful. In contrast, you have Akio failing to stop the hospital, and Okazuki failing to keep the corner where he met Nagisa, which is turned into the restaurant. The next reason why is because the show is an unconventional romance. A lot of anime rely on these classic tropes to introduce characters to each other and build some sort of harem where the protagonist never chooses. An example of this being Naokam. This anime suffers heavily from these tropes. This show forces our main character to get close to other female characters and build romantic relationships, only to be fully reset when he's forced to make an actual decision. Clannad does build up as though it may do this, but ends up giving us a real romance as Okazuki picks Nagisa. We also get to enjoy after story thanks to this decision and get to see their romance develop over time to the point where they even have a child. This is something not many romance anime ever take a chance on, with the fears that they may lose their primarily younger audience. But quite obviously that didn't end up being the case. This is because instead of focusing on being an adult, the show focuses on the transition into adulthood and how broad and unusual that can be. The fourth reason why this show is so influential is because of its excellent characters. As previously stated, each of the characters in this show have a purpose and develop over time. You see this done extremely well with Okazuki and Nagisa. Okazuki develops from someone who's essentially just a jerk to someone who is a fairly good husband and father. This is never done through any form of montage, and in the time skip, Okazuki doesn't change at all since he appears to be stuck in time after Nagisa's death. We see these events push these new emotions out of Okazuki and how he handles them and how he evolves. The same can be said for Nagisa. She's originally someone who is timid and weak, but by the end of the first season, she finally stars in the play. Although not particularly good for her health, when Nagisa repeats her senior year once again, she is finally strong enough to deal with her own problems without Okazuki's help. The same can be said for most characters throughout the anime, although sometimes we don't get to see them change on camera. The final part of this anime that truly made it stand out from the rest was its unique formula. A lot of shows that are going to be tearjerkers start by either setting the mood as depressing or sad, but Clannad was a key show in changing this theme by mixing comedy and tragedy. The show sets itself up on some extremely fun and happy scenes, only to follow them up with tragic stories. This was revolutionary. Not only did it make us care for the characters that much more, it really emphasized the difference between the high moments in the show and the low moments in the show. This seemingly magic formula is what they do in every single arc of the anime, and it is so potent when mixed with the other 4 elements we talked about. Ever since Clannad, multiple shows have followed in its footsteps, attempting to recreate this same formula, some being extremely successful while others failed. And I think this formula is truly the best gift Clannad gave to the anime community. Honestly, each one of these points could have been a video all to themselves, and maybe one day I'll make that into reality. But as of right now, I figured that they all work so well in tangent together that I decided to combine them all into one video. This video was created thanks to an extremely awesome patron named Samuel Williams. Thank you so much for your continued support. You are amazing. If you guys like my content, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I make 2 anime related videos a week. As usual, make sure you guys share, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Manime. Make sure you guys say, man, go watch that goddamn anime!